Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's GTA video, we're going to be talking about a handful of things regarding Grand Theft Auto 6, including the size of the world and the map. Are we going to have a large amount of enterable buildings? What's the depth and the scale going to look like? As well as things like vehicle physics, the stock market, and a whole lot more. But let's actually begin with the subject of the map, because ever since the Grand Theft Auto 6 leaks happened in September of 2022, there's been a talented group in the community that's been putting together their own sort of fan maps, and they actually look really incredible. I mean, the fact that they've been able to, for the most part, roughly piece together the world, various landmarks, various areas, various points of interest, it's absolutely incredible, and we only know so little. So the fact that all that info was able to be generated from so little stuff, that's just really cool. And obviously, when we get more, they're going to be able to put so much more detail together. And Insider TezFunds 2 chimed in on exactly what the map is probably going to look like, as there was a lot of discussion on how big it's going to be, how much wilderness and wildlife and areas of the map there's going to be. This is what he had to say. He says, "I am sure a key point of the brainstorming behind GTA 6 is to have more depth than scale. The sense of liveliness within a city would be more with the scale of accessible interiors." And this is something I feel Rockstar did really, really well with Red Dead Redemption 2. Yes, Red Dead Redemption 2's world felt massive, and in part of that was due to the fact that, you didn't have things like fighter jets or cars to get you from one side of the map to the other, but basically every single building had something that you could look at or explore, or had some sort of interior or secret behind it. And we didn't really see that with GTA 5. We did to a degree with Grand Theft Auto 4, like the ability to go in various areas like coffee shops or internet cafes or even car dealerships, for example. That added a sense of depth. So basically what he's saying here is Grand Theft Auto 6's map doesn't need to be massive, because I think that's going to be a big part of what a lot of people are going to latch on to when the game first ends up coming out. How big is the map? How does it compare to previous Grand Theft Auto titles or other Rockstar games or even other open world titles that are on the market right now? But it's not necessarily about just how big the game is, but rather how much depth do you have in that scale. And that's going to be that sense of liveliness, accessible interiors, all that sort of good stuff. And it's important to know that obviously from the leaks that we've gathered so far, we didn't get everything. And even though on the surface it does look like Vice City is much larger than Los Santos, we still don't know what's going to be in between. Countryside, cities, if there's going to be other things like towns and other ports. For all we know, a lot of the locations in-game might end up changing or might be bigger or smaller, but I cannot wait to see the sense of depth and liveliness and all the interiors that it looks like Rockstar are going to be able to add into this world. I mean, I really do think it's going to be the most in-depth Grand Theft Auto game we have definitely ever seen. Now, let's move on to another topic of discussion, and that actually has to do with vehicles. So there was a lot of discussion going around on how the cars and vehicles of Grand Theft Auto 6 could work. Should they be more similar to Grand Theft Auto 4, where everything felt like it had a lot more impact and punch, especially like hitting objects? They felt like proper collisions, but the inability to turn tightly, even at low speeds, that did become somewhat of a pain in the butt. Grand Theft Auto 5 sort of corrected that, but it almost didn't feel realistic. So a lot of people were wondering, what are the physics of these cars going to be like? And Insider TezFunds 2 chimed in and said this: "With the gaming industry push into accessibility and Rockstar making future titles more data-driven, I honestly wish they would let us adjust the vehicle handling physics at our will. The best solution to satisfy both ends of the Grand Theft Auto 4 versus Grand Theft Auto 5 debate, since it centers around values, parameters, and variables of game functions and physics simulation." Now, when I first saw this, I immediately said to myself, this could work for single player, but it's probably never going to work for Grand Theft Auto Online. You would obviously need to keep something like that consistent. But for single player, it could be something as simple as having a set of controls, like a toggle switch. How would you prefer your physics, like Grand Theft Auto 4 or GTA 5? They could have both in the game. Now, I know nothing about game development. I know nothing about how Rockstar could make that work, but I feel like they're smart enough, they're talented enough, they could probably make something like that happen. And you guys can definitely let me know what you think in those comments down below. But which vehicle physics did you prefer, Grand Theft Auto 4 or GTA 5? And last but not least, in this video today, there was also some discussion on the stock market and how that could actually be implemented into Grand Theft Auto 6, with a few people generating some discussion saying, yep, the BOSSAC, which is supposed to be the NASDAQ for Grand Theft Auto 5, was supposed to be influenced by other players' actions. Not integrate into GTA Online, but integrate into other players' actions into the stock market to make it more dynamic. When you go to the site, I think it says offline or something. And they had a whole service called Community Stats, and it was actually active from 2013 till 2021's Los Santos Tuners update, at which point Rockstar dropped PS3 and Xbox 360 support and ditched the cloud service by storing an offline version of its logic within the files. And TezFunds2 said, yeah, the stock market being affected by the community was indeed a thing. Too bad Rockstar had this cloud service all along, but didn't integrate it into GTA Online. And again, this discussion was going on in the GTA 6 subsection and forums, and that is something that could be extremely cool going forward. And it actually could be a cool way for fans to like invest in something and actually earn themselves and their characters money. Like, let's say, for example, it's June and we know nothing about an update that's going to be coming out in July. And you decide to invest a lot of stock in Warstock Cash and Carry. And the update that comes out in July is one that's all about military and armored vehicles. So obviously when that update comes out, a lot of people start buying Warstock Cash and Carry vehicles and the price of their stock goes up. And therefore your character could end up selling those stocks and making a decent bit of money, just like how things work in real life. Now, I don't know if that was too in-depth for Rockstar or they felt that that could be abused or glitched or exploited in some way, shape, or form, but they never made its way into the game. And it kind of makes you think if Rockstar could do something like that for GTA 6 and their multiplayer. Again, just like what we were talking about with the vehicle physics, something that could necessarily work for single player, but probably a little bit more difficult to implement for something like Grand Theft Auto 6 Online. But anyways, I'd love to hear from you guys in those comments down below. Let me know what you think about everything we discussed in this video today. I'd love to hear from you guys down there, or of course you can reach out to me on my Facebook page, where as always you can send photos, messages, videos, and a whole lot more. If you guys did go on to enjoy this video though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new. You want to stay up to date on all the latest GTA and all the Rockstar Games videos that I'll be doing here on my channel. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.